Sitting down may make you fall asleep.
Make you fall asleep. Me too.
And I'll be handy.
Okay. I was instructed, I guess. Now you could correct me if I'm wrong. That I was to give my testimony in this class. But if you want to wait till later, we'll just.
Whatever the Lord lays on your heart.
Okay, we'll do that. And so I just wrote some notes. Yeah, my name is Rick Hendricks. I'm from Pennsylvania, USA. And not so far from where you are from, right? If anybody knows, we're not that far apart in time and distance. And I have one wife from early on, married for 40-some years, and we have 8 children.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and one of them lives in Pangasinan, Urdaneta, which is not far from here. So I was raised in a Protestant home. I don't know how familiar everybody is with Protestant religions here, but I was raised in a Lutheran home. And when I was in the teen years, they had a class in the Lutheran church where they would teach the church teachings and some doctrine and things, which just to, that was their practice. But I also had participated in a Bible study at school, which was run by a lady who was a missionary of some sort. Couldn't tell you what background she was exactly, but they taught clear salvation there, and we understood that in the Bible class, which was after school. It was separate from the school, but it was at the school. And so during that time period, when I was 14, 15 years old, I was learning these things, but most importantly, that was a salvation message, which was cleared up for me through this Bible's class after school, because I wouldn't have really gotten it clear from the Lutheran church. They're not that good at teaching clear salvation. And so that's the time when I got saved, when I was 15, and realized that I needed to make that decision. But being in a Lutheran church, you don't get taught well. And but fortunately, God led me along and brought me to some friends and people in my life that brought me to a somewhat okay Baptist church. And I learned some better things there, and the importance of baptism and so forth. That was where I was baptized, and actually where my wife and I got married, because she went to that church. But then, later on, after we were married, really even before we were married, we started to see things in the church, in that church, that was not what we thought was appropriate for a good church. And for instance, we asked about going out soul winning and handing out tracts, and the response we got was, well, we really don't do that here. So we were kind of, as I was learning, because I came from, it might as well have been a Catholic church or whatever. The Lutheran church is similar to Catholic. I didn't have any understanding of what a true church was like. And my wife, well, she grew up in this church that was so-so. So she didn't know. But we both recognized that there were things that they weren't doing and things that they were doing that were not, just didn't seem right to us as far as the Bible's concerned, And so one day after we were married, we were driving to church, and we were late a lot, because that's how we are. No excuse there. We are always late. And we were driving to church, and I said, I'm done. We're going to this church right here, which I had asked somebody about. And they said it was a good church. So we just pulled in there. And it turned out it was a pretty good church. And we learned some good things there. We learned some good doctrine while we were there and for about a year and a half. And then we ended up moving and bought a house. And because of the things we learned at that church, we knew what to look for in the next church. And so we got ourselves into a really good church at that point, a biblical church that taught good things out of the scriptures and not a bunch of junk. So we were there for quite a number of years until we moved again. And then we were at the church with Pastor Smith. And so that's about where I am. I'm retired now from working, and like I said, we have 8 children. Ricky is next door. He's our only son. And Tanya is my daughter who lives in Urdaneta, and she's the only one who's not married besides Ricky. And the other 6 are all married and have children, and they're kind of spread around different parts of the United States. Nobody else overseas yet. And I'm going to open this up for any questions you might have, because I always like to ask questions. Is it going to be a hard question?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Personal question.
Yeah.
Do you have grandkids?
Oh, yeah.
How many grandkids?
Why do you have to ask how many? Does it really doesn't matter when it's over 20. Yeah. When there's more than that, I don't keep track anymore. I don't even know their names.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, you said you grew up in a Lutheran home, and
Yeah.
who introduced you to the gospel? How did you come to that knowledge, the saving knowledge of the Lord? How did you come to that?
Yeah, well, partly from some of the things that we were supposed to be learning in the Lutheran Church in these classes, right? Classes that, quite honestly, I think I was the only one who had any interest in anything that was going on there. They were all kids that are 14, 15 years old at that period of time. And yet when, if the teacher said, well, has anybody read the book of Revelation? I'm the only guy raising my hand, because, yeah, I read it. I didn't understand it, but at least I read it. Nobody else even bothered to pick up their Bible. If they had one, I'll even go that far, if they even had a Bible. But then I had this lady who was in the Bible, after-school Bible class, and that's where we really learned true salvation, So I could pair that with some of the things that I learned at the Lutheran Church, but, they're mixing things up in their doctrines, so.
I'm just curious, what did you do for a living before you retired?
Well, most of the time I was like in construction work and in the industrial field, specializing in things that in working in a warehouse, like putting up storage racks and industrial shelving and some other certain specialty products like that. Not building the building itself, but things that go inside the building. Yeah.
And you just retired.
Well, yeah.
How do you like retirement?
I'd rather be working. Yeah. Yeah, not my choice, but COVID kind of took away the work that we had. Things just slowed down, and I guess companies are changing. There's still need for some work, but things are changing. So
So did you strong arm Pastor Smith to come here, or did he?
You know what? I think my wife did that.
Yeah. Yeah. How did that?
That's what I'm hearing. I don't know. Pastor Smith just came to me one day and said, "Look, I think we can go in February." Then the next thing I know, it's January, and he's so okay. I'm ready to go anytime because I was here in 2019, right before COVID hit. Right before.
I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, just at the end of 2019, December.
Did you visit for that?
Yeah, so we were 3 weeks up there, my wife and I.
You could have came here. You didn't know us. You didn't know us.
No, that's kind of funny that we didn't know about you being here. But yeah, we were here for 3 weeks, had a great time, and then COVID came and that was the end of travel.
Can you tell us what Tanya is doing up there?
Oh yeah, so Tanya is working in a church there that has a Christian school. I couldn't tell you how many students they have, except that they have, I don't know, maybe 8 teachers, so it's a decent size, you know. And she has right now, since COVID came, she has about 10 girls that live with her in housing that the church provides, that she is, oversees and takes care of. And I think they're all, various ages, from probably 6 or 8 years old up to 18. Once they get through high school, which she's had a couple girls graduate high school, then they move on to college. So they're not living with her anymore. They're living in another, I'll call it dormitory or something, at the church there. So they're still under the guidance of the church yet, even then. Yeah.
How long has she been with Pastor Galliana or Gallian?
Gallian. I think about 7 years, 7 or 8 years maybe. She's been here, I think, about 18 years altogether.
Okay.
So she was in this, right in this area somewhere at one point, in a church that's not in this area anymore. So, but yeah, that was earlier in her Philippine experience. Yeah. Anything else? Sure. And my son has been here 6 times. I think he said 6 times. So I think this is his 7th trip. He's been here for as much as 6 months at a time. Yeah. He loves coming here. And he was really unhappy when COVID came and people told him, "You'll never go back to the Philippines again. It's be closed forever." It kind of felt like that, yeah. As a matter of fact, Tanya's pastor, his wife went back to the States because her mother was really sick and they thought she was going to die. And it was right at the beginning of COVID. So she was in the States for 1.5 years. Couldn't get back here. Yeah. She was stuck. And her mother didn't die. I guess that's good, right? But she didn't need to make the trip and leave her husband abandoned for 1.5 years.
Well, amen. How do you serve the Lord at
Community Baptist, yeah, with Pastor Smith. What do I do there? I stay out of the way. As far as later on you won't hear me sing, because Pastor Smith said that's not a good idea. So I don't sing, I don't play an instrument, a lot of things I don't do. I'm an usher, I help with getting people where they need to be and that sort of thing, and security on the building, making sure that it's secure and that sort of thing. And then I do a lot of work around physical work for keep the building in shape and that sort of thing. And
How long have you been with Community Baptist Church?
from the beginning,
Really?
yeah, which I can't even, I don't even know how long that's been. I think it's 18 years, but I'm not sure.
But you're a starting member?
Yeah. Charter member, as they say. Pastor Smith was at another church before that, and I was at that church also. So we transferred over. Yeah, that's a good word.
Transition, transfer.
Yeah.
Moved, left.
Yeah.
Amen.
So we've been there a long time. That's our longest stint at a church. But you know, when you find a good church, there's no reason to go anywhere else, right? Yeah.
So you ushered as well?
Yeah.
We don't have ushers yet, but I don't give up on you, usher. They don't. Some may not know what an usher is.
Oh.
Can you tell us?
Well, in our church, it's basically somebody that greets people when they come into the church building, make sure that they get any printed materials that we're giving out, whether there's a bulletin for the day or some printed notes or anything like that. Make sure that they get that. If they're a visitor for the first time, they get a visitor package. It'll have a card for them to fill out so that we get information as to who they are and we can follow up and contact with them. And some small gifts are from the church, like notepads or coffee mug or something like that. And we don't go around collecting the offering anymore. Well, you probably saw that when you were there, right? Which works fine. And some people don't. Some people say, "Oh, I don't care for that," but we have a box, and people just bring their offering up at that appointed time during the service, rather than have ushers. A lot of churches have ushers that go and pass around the plates and so forth, but we don't do that anymore. Since the COVID brought that idea up, and we said, hey, this works, and it's less work for the ushers, you know. So, and the kids really like it. Kids like to participate, so yeah.
How about unruliness? How does an usher handle?
Well, we're all armed, and we just shoot them. Oh, you thought I was kidding. Yeah.
This is serious. They have to do that.
I don't think we've actually had anybody trespass like that.
Amen. Yeah, but you are armed, right?
Yeah.
They really are.
That is true. I mean,
it's a terrible tragedy, but it's important.
I mean, even worse than that is we actually had a church seminar about it. You know.
Yeah, we did too.
That's.
We did too. At
Our
home
home church in the U.S.
Did you?
Oh yeah, we have a team of men.
Yeah.
Team.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a security team, and if something bad happens, hopefully it doesn't happen to our church members. Maybe just the bad people who want to make trouble. But we don't really. We're not in a place where it would lend itself too well to that sort of problem, right?
Here?
No, he's on
No,
our
in
church.
our church at home, we're pretty
Yeah.
isolated. We're not in a big city anywhere, or near a lot of people, and so, and that really helped us out too during COVID, because we didn't have a lot of people watching what we were doing, so we could just continue on having church And we didn't have to worry about people saying, hey, what's going on over there with all those cars and all those people? That's not allowed. We just continued on.
Can you give us an idea of how, the membership, what's the membership at Cork Community, and also how many ushers do they have?
Oh, so yeah, I would say, well, we have somewhere between 180 and 200 people on Sunday morning. And, well, the ushers are on a rotating schedule, so yeah, I don't know. There were probably,
On a typical Sunday morning?
there's probably 20,
Okay.
but there's only maybe 4 or 5 that are working at any given time because we rotate, and I told them I won't be there today. Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about your trip, or
Which trip?
how you're feeling right now and how you're doing?
Who wants to talk about that? I was right. It's been a tough trip. But it's easier when you come to the U.S. So plan your trip, come to visit us at Community Baptist, and you'll have a good time and you'll get to see some interesting people. Right?
That's right.
It's not that bad.
Lovely, lovely place.
Yeah.
Lovely church. And how is Tanya doing up in Hendricks? How is she doing?
Oh, she's doing well. She's doing fine, yeah. She, happy to see us come because she's been stuck here, for so long. Although she was home, boy, I'm not sure how long ago it's been now. It's been quite a while. Oh, there were 2 weddings. I had 2 daughters that got married right together. Not the same day, but one weekend and then the next weekend. And they planned that specifically so that Tanya could be there,
Amen.
So that was, I think, about 5 years ago. So that was probably the last time Tanya's been home.
Was it pretty tight where Tanya serves? Like, did they end up having to close down a long time and all that? Or was
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, it was.
They were closing down a lot. But she's she's a little bit of a rebel, let's put it that way. She said, yeah, you're not allowed to do this, but we're doing it anyway. I'm getting these kids that, whatever it takes, she's tough. Yeah.
And how's your wife doing in PA?
Oh, she's doing well. She went back and forth about wanting to come on this trip, but next time maybe. Well, I'm sure she would have come next time. Yeah. Maybe we get some other family members to come. Yeah. No more questions? Has Dr. Strauss hasn't been here, has he? No. But you've been to his class?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we get a lot of good teaching from some other men like that, which is important. And this is your core group right here?
Well, we have some that we probably,
That'll be here.
some come after Sunday school, we come through.
Okay.
All right.
No more questions?
When you get back,
Yeah.
so you're gonna be heading out after your visit with Tanya and Pastor
Right?
and the work up there. Back to routine, or
Yeah.
you gonna take up a hobby or what?
Well, I'd like to move. I'd like to sell my house and move closer to the church. That's the, that's one of the things I've been, you know, what happens is if you live long enough, you get old, like me. And then things become more difficult. And so we have to drive a half hour at least to get to church. And then if the weather's bad, which you don't have a bad weather here ever, right? But, but not like we have in Pennsylvania, you know, snowstorms and ice storms and things, you know. So I'd like to see if I could get within 5 minutes of the church, which, you know, there's actually not a lot of houses in our area. When I started, I've been looking for 2 years. I've even stopped and talked to people who don't have their house for sale. And I say, look, you know, you ever think about selling your house? Because I think I'd be interested.
Amen.
And I have people take my name and phone number and say, well, hey, maybe in a couple of years I will. Because I want to be close to the church. I want to be in a house that takes a lot less work to maintain. You know, our house was big because we had 8 children and everything. I don't want to be distracted by all that. I want a simple life so I can spend more time with the church and doing things there. You know, I'm always running to the church to do work there and back and forth, back and forth. It'd be nice to be real close by. You know.
Saving gas too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with gas is expensive.
What about Brother Ricky? What's his desire? Where is he at in school and education or work?
Well, he's worked. Well, he's took a leave from his job because he's going to be here for 2 months. But he was working at a produce warehouse and saving his money and taking classes. Someday he wants to be full-time ministry in some regard. So he's been taking a lot of classes for a long time. And I think that if he completed everything, he's graduating from his one school, but you know, he's also got more classes that he's taking with Pastor Smith and Dr. Strauss, and so he's still taking more classes and stuff to get
He
prepared.
desires ministry.
Yeah.
Amen. Wow.
Is he your youngest?
Oh no, he's number 6. Yeah.
So is he still at home?
Well, he is at home now. He left for a while and moved to Florida because his sister, one of his sisters, kept bugging him. You should come down here. You'd really love it. Well, she thought that the warm weather was an appealing thing for him because he loves the Philippines and it's so warm here, right?
Yeah.
But when he got down there, he said it's not the same. It's different kind of heat, different kind of weather, not the same as the Philippines.
He's just spoiled.
Yeah. So he worked down there for a couple of years, but then he came back.
So do you have more at home?
No, that's
Or
it.
just him?
Yeah, just him and Tanya over here, and the rest are all married, raising families. Yeah. We have, I have 2 other daughters that live near us, which are in our church at home, yeah. Maybe I get them to come over here. My oldest daughter lives near us. She was the first one in our family to come to the Philippines way back when she was in college.
Why the Philippines? Like, what was
I don't know. Her if I get this right, do you know Landmark Baptist College in Florida?
I've heard of
No?
I've heard of that.
She was in college there, and the president of the college brought her and another girl to come to the Philippines because he was coming, and he wanted them to come because they could sing and give presentations on the school and so forth. So They were the first, she was the first one to come. And then Tanya was the second one because what happened was my oldest daughter wanted to be a missionary to Ireland. But, you know, that doesn't always work out. For all her teen years, I'm going to be a missionary to Ireland. That's what I'm doing. Everybody asked her, what are you going to do? I'm going to be a missionary to Ireland. Then she went to Bible school, Bible college, and she met a fellow. And he didn't feel that he was called to be a missionary. He wanted to be a preacher. So she said, well, I guess I'll just have to settle for being a preacher's wife instead of a missionary's wife. So Tanya said, well, if Megan's not going to be a missionary, then I guess it's up to me as second daughter. I guess I'll have to step in. And so she stepped up and said, that's it, I'll do it. I'll come to the Philippines. They had some friends at the college that were from the Philippines. So that's how they kind of got a connection here. Yeah.
So do you have siblings? How about your family?
Me, I have one brother. Yeah, but he's not saved, not interested at all in anything religious of any kind in any way, and I don't know why.
Did your parents, were you able to tell them about the Lord or the gospel, or how about your parents?
No, my mother, I don't believe my mother was saved, even though we talked to her many, many times, because she always fell back on saying that she was a good person, you know, and that's a Protestant, you know, thinking. Very common with the Protestant churches, and I think that was ingrained into her, and that's what she always kind of depended on. So every time we talked to her and witnessed to her, she'd, oh yeah, she'd agree, and then she'd say, well, you know, I'm a good person, you know, so she was still depending on works. So I don't believe she was saved. And my father died in an accident before I was married earlier on, so I'm not sure about him. Yeah. But they did take us to church. For whatever reason, I don't know. I mean, my father used to take us to church every Sunday, get us there for Sunday school and everything, but I don't know why.
So, was your wife Baptist before you were Baptist?
Yeah. She was mostly, I guess you could say, she was raised in the Baptist church. Yeah, because she was. Her parents were originally in the Methodist church, and her father was a Sunday school teacher. And then one day he decided that the lessons that the Methodist church was putting out, the Sunday school lessons and so forth, they were just had too many problems, you know. They weren't biblical. So he said, yeah, you know, I don't think this is the place for us anymore. And there was a Baptist church almost right across the street from where they lived. So let's try this Baptist church and see. And so he went there, and I think my wife told me he got saved at a Billy Graham crusade. And yeah, he was.
And what state was your wife and you? Where were you guys originally from?
Pennsylvania. We're all from Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So you grew up in PA.
Yeah.
Rolling hills.
That's right.
Do you eat scrapple?
No, I do not eat scrapple.
Oh, you're not.
Isn't that funny?
I don't like it either.
I mean, I'll come here and eat whatever you feed me, but I don't. Yeah, and I don't drink coffee either. So.
You don't drink coffee?
No coffee.
Oh, that's sad.
Have you tried balloon piece?
Oh yeah. Sure. Got to, right? I mean, wouldn't anybody ask that question if you said you were been to the Philippines? That's one of the first questions. Did you eat that egg thing?
How about Pastor Smith? Is he?
Oh no. He has a very sensitive stomach.
Me too.
Spicy foods he can't do too well, especially, like Indian food, I don't think Filipino food is spicy though. I wouldn't classify it as spicy. But when you have maybe fish heads on the platter, he'll pass on that. And force me to eat them.
You be a good example.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is Pastor Smith's second trip to the Philippines. Also, we came, I think it was 13 or 14 years ago.
So you accompanied him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many times were you here again?
This is my third time. Only my third time.
And what's your favorite Filipino food? Do you have a favorite?
I don't have a favorite.
Did you say them all?
Oh, well, actually, it could be, although I haven't had it, again, is buko pie.
Oh,
Which, very strangely, I had that several times on my first time I came here, and they fed me this stuff, and I was, oh, this is really great, really great. And after eating it a few times, I said, what is this? And they said, basically, it's pineapple, right? Am I right? No.
Coconut.
Coconut, that's it, wrong. Coconut, they said. I said, I hate coconut. I do not like coconut at all. And this does not taste anything like coconut.
this is legit.
Yeah, exactly. It's completely different than any coconut you would get in the U.S. So, yeah.
It's the same with the mangoes.
What's that?
The mangoes here.
Yeah.
They're legit. They're like really good.
So I really, I really like buko pie.
What do you like to eat in Pennsylvania? Like, what's your favorite meal?
It's kind of hard. I have a lot. Well, I could be like Pennsylvania Dutch. I know a lot of people don't know what that is, and just say, I really like a good pot roast. I mean, you can't go wrong with that, right? I mean, yeah.
My dad loves it. Good, yeah, sweet potatoes.
Yeah, just meat and potatoes.
Did you get to meet my parents?
Oh yeah, they were for the marriage thing we just had recently. Yeah.
Well, I think they're almost done.
Okay.
Let's brother, just close us in a word of prayer and then we'll be dismissed.
Lord, we thank you for this day that we can come together, worship, learn things from your word, and prepare ourselves to go out into the world in which we live, and be a witness for you to the people that we meet, and also to encourage and challenge each other. And we ask your blessing on the rest of the day. In Jesus' name, amen.